Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. Welcome again to Verified. So, now guys, we are some days into the DV Lottery 2025 application, and I'm seated outside here because I want to talk with you one or two things regarding this DV Lottery application. I hope you are still applying, and if you have not, go ahead and apply. I don't see the reason as to why you should not apply, because application is free. You don't need anything in terms of finances for you to apply. You don't require a passport. No, that is not a requirement. You don't need any money to apply. You just need to have your DV photo. And that's why I tell you that you need to apply, and you need to apply in this DV lottery, because you never know, you might become the winner. Now, today is a great day because I traveled many miles to Nairobi City, and I just came and I decided, why don't I visit the guest that I brought you some days back before she leaves the country, and we shall have some interesting conversation. We shall see the progress. We shall see how she prepares. She will be answering the questions that you people have been asking on the channel that were meant for her. So, without much ado, I want me to introduce my guest. And I know most of you know about her, but if you don't know about her, then watch this video to the end. Yes, so guys, here I have arrived, and I just want to meet my guest. Very important guest. You also know of her. So watch the story as it unfolds.
Hi, Bias.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Wow.
Welcome.
Here you are, Lucy.
Here I am. How are you?
Very fine.
Welcome to our place.
Welcome to Verified. So,
Yeah, you have come when this place is hot.
wow,
Sometimes
I
it's
see.
cold.
It's very hot, very
You
hot.
are lucky.
Wow.
What time did you get around?
Wow, I'm just from arriving.
I want to stand in the shade.
Yeah, that's
Because
a good
the
place.
sun is sometimes really burns my fingers.
And you know what, Lucy?
Yes, tell me.
I'm so much stoked to see you. I wanted to come and visit you before you leave the country, because I know you just have some few days to leave this country.
Yes.
So I'm so happy and so humbled for welcoming me here.
Thank you.
So where are we? Where are we here?
This place is in the middle of Kikuyu, near Kikuyu town. And yeah, this is home. This is another home, different from where people are used to seeing me. And I know VS have been telling people that I am moving items. It's a good thing you're here, because now they can see this is where I bring the items to. I lock them here.
Wow.
And in a few days, VS, I'm so happy that you came before
Wow.
I left. Yes.
Yes, and that's what made me come.
At least I have seen
Because do you know what? I have viewers on my channel.
Yes.
Almost all of them.
Yes.
They were very delighted in your story.
Thank you.
It was very inspiring, very motivating, and especially at this time, you know, we are in the DV Lottery 2025 application period.
Yes.
And people are really applying and applying. I saw others commenting that, wow, you won at your age. I'm now 53. I know next time it will be my chance. And you know what?
Yes.
They also have a lot of questions. Yeah. And that's what made me come seek you.
Okay,
Yes.
I will answer them. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I also saw those questions, but yeah, I thought you can handle that. But so here we are.
So tell us about this place. I see it's a new place. It's a big house. It's a big place, beautiful place. Are we in a hotel? Where are we?
No, this is not a hotel. This is my property, my home.
Wow.
One of my many homes, you know. I always say I'm polygamous. You know, VS, when I won green card and I understood about the case number,
Yes.
I knew my case number was good
Yes.
and I did not want to waste time.
Yes.
So I decided, why don't I engage in a project
Yes.
that I can continue with
Yes.
once I go to the US?
Yes.
That is when I started this project. As you can see, I have put up some 2 more floors
Yes.
and we have not done the finishing.
Okay.
Now, at least now I have something to make me work very hard.
Okay.
So that when I work, I told people I'm 55, so I'm not those people who are paying school fees.
Yes.
But I need somewhere to put my money.
Yes.
Because US, you work, you make a lot of money. What do you do with that money?
Yes.
I know I can buy a house in US, but I also know I can bring some back home because this will always be home. So you see this project, when I go, I will. I wanted to at least finish the structure. That is the structure. But the ground floor, we stay there. But I don't stay here because this is a very big place for me, just alone. So I stay in my other small house. And this place, sometimes I let it out. But now the tenant who was occupying one of the units has left so that to give me space to
All
get a
right.
place to put the items that won't be bought.
Yes. Now, speaking of the items, putting the items, which items?
Items, they are household items. Household items.
All right, simply because you're relocating.
Simply because I'm
So
relocating.
you had to bring them to your permanent home.
I wanted to bring them to my permanent home because the other place is an apartment.
All right.
And they may not be very safe, and we can always give that one out for let.
All right.
And so I bring them here because I can lock them here. There are not much movement here, so yeah, that is
Wow.
more like it. I'm so happy for
Wow.
you, to come
So
here.
I'm looking at Lucy directly.
Yes, this
Lu
is me. The whole of
Kaime.
me. This is the whole of Lucy Kaime.
Wow.
Lu Kaime.
Wow.
On YouTube, yes.
That is so wonderful. So, without much ado, let me just go direct to the questions.
Yes, yes.
And I have a lot for you.
Tell me about it.
Now, the first question that I have is, you won green card
Yeah.
at your age.
Yes.
And that definitely means,
Yeah.
as from what we've seen,
Yeah.
you had already established your life.
Very much.
Now, take us through that journey. How do you feel leaving this property, or are you leaving it, or did you undo all the life for you to go to the US? What did you do?
It's a good question. It's a good question. You don't undo life. You don't, because it's you. I don't know how to put it, but what is life? Life is me, and me can be anywhere, and life is continuous. So I'm just continuing with life. And life, you might ask, Lucy, with all of this, why do you have to live? I don't live because of all of this. I live life because life is an adventure.
Wow.
Yeah, and life is continuous.
Yes.
So I can be here, I can be in China, I can be in US, I can be wherever I want to be, and I'll continue doing me.
Wow, that's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
That's a very good advice.
Yes.
You know, I normally tell people
Yep.
that winning DV lottery
Yes.
does not mean necessarily discontinuing your former life.
Yes.
You can transition from your former life to a
Absolutely.
new life.
Yes.
Now, the other question is this.
Yeah.
Now, take us through
Yeah.
the preparations, especially after this whole establishment.
I'll tell you, VS, that is a very good question, because when we talk of packing, we think of packing clothes, toiletries, in some briefcases. But that is the least that got to do with packing. For me, I was unpacking a life. I was unpacking a lifetime. Properties, family, children, my country, my past, my history. You unpack all that is the toughest part of unpacking. You know, because I'm established. I have a thriving business, which is stable. By the way, I'm a realtor. I have investments. And then that is when I realized you cannot unpack or pack. There's nothing like that. You can only continue living life and taking what life brings your way. At the moment, at the age of 55, life has made me a citizen of America. So I take that up together with all that I have, and it is all mine. I move with it, and I release it for God to do what He wants with it. Even my going to America, if I would go for anything else other than things that give glory to God, then I would rather not go. So you take all that you have, you realize you don't own it, you don't have it, it all belongs to God, and that way I release it, and it is easy.
Wow.
Yes.
And talking of that, do you have to sell your items, your properties and everything for you to relocate, or you can just not sell them?
Now that's a good question. I can sell to make maybe extra bucks. As they say, a car has just fitted in a wallet. If my car can fit in my wallet, it's still my money, just like it was still my car. And I can sell. I have the privilege of either selling off. Why? Because I don't have anyone to leave these things with. Remember, my children are big, they are established, they have their own families. I don't have any who is not married. So they may not really need the many items that I had. So I didn't have much option than to sell. But for that which I was not able to sell, then they're the type that I will bring here. And maybe I can give the house that I've been forced to furnish as A and B and B.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Instead of letting it for monthly rental.
Yes. And maybe there are some people out there
Yes.
who are the DV Lottery 2024 winners, and they might make some mistake of selling their items, yet they have not yet gone through the interview. They don't know their fate. What advice would you give them?
Oh, yes, that would be a gross mistake. Let me tell you something. Even I have been saying that I'm running away from the sun. I have been saying that I had a good case number. But you see, having a good case number, even number 1,000, does not guarantee that you will have the visa. Let people not make that mistake. Because also now, having the visa has got its own requirements that you must pass. And not everybody who passes. And like I told you, a very small mistake, a very small slip of the tongue during the interview, it doesn't matter what case number you are. So many people don't go through the interview. But me, because I was just me, single, I had not even educated my children, it was easier. It was easier to compile my history.
All right.
Yeah.
So you don't advise them to sell until they get their visas approved.
Don't sell.
Yeah.
Don't sell.
Yeah.
But once you get your visa,
Yeah.
you can start selling
Yeah.
and giving out. After all, we have said these things are not ours.
Wow, what a wonderful
We've
advice.
been given by God.
Yeah.
So feel free to give items out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the other question that I have,
Yes.
what are the new things that you've learned
Yes.
during packing to leave? I know you are going one way to the US, not going and returning. What
Yeah.
challenge, what new things have you learned during preparation to leave?
Oh, yes. Actually, the word is relocating.
Yes, yes.
Relocating,
Yes.
going, not to come back.
Yes.
Like I have told you, the things I have learned, and I have learned them the hard way.
Yes.
I would call them challenges.
Yes.
Because for starters, I wanted to book the flight myself.
Yes.
I'm not an online friendly person.
Yes.
I like doing things analog.
Yes.
And so I made a gross mistake.
Yes.
I didn't know how to, I thought I knew,
Yes.
but through paying my flight, yes, can you imagine? I lost all the money that I had paid for my flight.
Yes.
Do you know I lost all of it? Well, I recovered it, but between the time I lost and recovered, can you imagine?
It was a treacherous journey.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and what I went through.
Wow. In fact, I watched your video telling that story, and I was wondering, wow. So
Yeah.
that is what you can end up in.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
That is what I went through.
Wow. So that seems an interesting story. Could you just do some small recap how you went about losing your cash?
And let us sit here. I think there are some seats here, then I can tell you what happened. Yes, what happened is that went and asked my daughter to pay for me online. And at this time, I wanted to travel by Qatar Airways because one time I was going somewhere and I was taking the KQ. I saw their flights and they looked awesome in the field. And I said, the next time I travel, I will go by Qatar Airways. So my daughter booked my flight through Qatar Airways because we know, always we know, and maybe this is also an advice, when you book your flight area, it is very, very cheap because that flight has not been booked, it is empty. But the closer you get to the time you travel, the flight keeps becoming expensive. If you think you can book next week's flight this week, you will not get a seat. They are always full. So we were cutting on cost. But then we used a system that they call flow cash. Because it was still on their website as one of the payment modes. Little did we know that Qatar no longer have a contract with flow cash. And so our money got lost in the air, maybe in the cloud. I don't know where. Well, I did put up a fight, a lot of following up, until just last week, I got my money back. So that was one of the challenges, yes, and not to mention when it came to the real packing. You know where you pack your items in those bags, BS?
Yes.
And you are given 2 bags
Yeah.
of 23 kgs.
Yeah.
So can you imagine my life, my history, my clothing, my toiletries, my tomorrow fitting in 23 kgs worth of briefcase?
Wow.
That was next to impossible.
Wow.
So I had to, eventually, when I was chasing for my money, I realized where Qatar offices are.
Yeah.
And there I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I even learned the box doesn't have to be 23 kgs.
Oh,
it can be more than that. It can actually be 32 kgs. But of course, there are rules and conditions that comes with that.
all right.
So I've learned a lot.
Wow.
At one point, I bought some briefcases at China Square. And I had to dispose them off because they were the wrong briefcases. I replaced them with others. And all this time, I am spending because I am buying.
Wow.
So it has been very, very challenging. Not
Wow.
to talk about the emotions. That is story for another day.
So that's to mean that also packing the luggage that you carry or you take with you is also poses some challenges.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I don't know. It is very challenging. It's very stressful.
Because you're limited.
It's time consuming.
Yeah.
Because you are forced to do some research. Thorough research.
Yeah.
Because even the packing, you don't just pack into a box. You are given the dimensions. So everything is controlled. And so you have to try work with that to also fit what you would have wanted to do. So packing VS is something else.
Wow,
It's
that's
something
good.
else.
Now I have some more questions.
Yes.
Now towards you from my viewers.
Yes.
But before that, I see you have a very beautiful place.
Yes.
And guys, you can see this is like a palace, and it's being left behind, though not sold. But you can see very beautiful place, very cool place. But she's relocating to the US.
Yes.
Now, take us upstairs. Let's see the development.
Yes.
As we talk about these questions.
Now, I'll tell you about this development.
Yes.
Actually, I decided to add the 2 floors when I won the DV.
Yes.
Because I realized this can't be done when I'm away, because the contractors, the foremen, the mafundis, they can really swindle you. So I decided, let me take time, put 2 floors up, because I only had the ground floor, to put 2 floors up while I'm here. Because when it comes to finishing is where you put the plaster on the walls, the windows, the door, the welder comes in, the plumber comes in to fix the toilets, and then those are the finishings. So I wanted this to be done when I am here, because it's usually a bit difficult Now that this is finished, I'm going to the US. I have something to make me work hard.
Wow.
Like I told you, me, I'm not those young mothers who are still paying school fees.
Wow.
So I must have something where my money will go. And so this is what I'll do with my money.
Yes, guys, we at the rooftop.
Yes.
Let me just give you a glimpse of the whole beautiful compound. There you go.
Yeah.
So I have these questions
Yes.
now from our viewers,
Yeah.
and one was asking,
Yeah.
because we are in the DV application period,
Yes.
which day during your year and during that period of application, which day did you apply? The first day, the last day, the middle, which one exactly?
Okay, me, I was lucky because, like I told you guys, it was the DV that looked for me. It's not me who looked for the DV. So the guy who applied for me told me that was the first day the DV was released.
You applied on the first day?
Yeah, but you see, VS, it doesn't really matter. DV, you can be the first or the last. It's lottery. It doesn't really matter. So until the period is over to apply, you can apply even the very last day.
Wow.
Yes.
What a wonderful advice. Now, the next question. During your application, now that you have kids, and you told us you have 3 kids, and they are grown up people, did you add them in your application?
I did not even need to add the details of my children because they are above 21 years. Once the children are above 21 years, you don't include them in the initial application. But if they are below, because you will be traveling with them, you will be asked their details. So my application was easy. However, when it comes to filling the form DS-260, that is where you put in all the details.
That's very good advice. So if you have kids above the age of 21,
Yes.
you don't add them. You
Yes,
only
you
add
don't.
them during the DS-260 form.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, the other question,
Yes.
it's a funny one. Which studio did you use to apply the DV lottery?
And before I tell you which studio, I also want to say the studio does not even matter. I see people asking on YouTube, give me contact of the person who of the cyber, the person who applied for you. That does not really matter. You can even apply DV in your own house on your own laptop. But if you want to know, as you can see, I'm here in Kikuyu, and the cyber is very shabby somewhere in the depths of a place called Othero, for those who know Othero.
Wow.
Yes.
So the studio in which you take your photos,
Yeah.
in which you apply, whether you apply with your phone or your laptop, that does not matter.
It does not matter at all.
Only that you take the required photo that meets
Especially
the dimensions.
required passport photo. You must
Yes.
keep those dimensions,
Yes.
and you must keep the rules.
Yeah,
Don't tell lies. That is all you need.
yeah. Now, Lucy,
Yes.
I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Those are some of the questions that my viewers asked.
Thank you so much.
For me, I
Yes.
feel
You're
pleased
the
to
best.
meet you before you leave the country.
I'm leaving anytime now.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm telling my viewers
Yes.
that you have a channel by the name Kaime
Kaime,
that
yes.
you need to go
Yes.
and watch, and you'll find all these details that we're discussing here, plus many, many more.
Yes.
And much is coming as she tells me.
Yes.
So welcome my viewers to your channel.
Kaime is my channel, and there I only talk about my experience. Anything else, anything that you want to know or researched, I usually send you back to VS, who is now my mentor.